Let's get oily and bring in the former NHLer Jason Demers coming to us from Montreal. Jason, what are you doing out in Montreal?
Montreal Cocktail Fest. It's support my. So I am sober, so don't get that twisted. No, my brother just put on this event this year. He owns a bunch of bars and restaurants in Montreal area. He's been doing it now for a while, and he just founded this with another partner of his, trying to kind of bring cocktail awareness and mixology. So he's got a bunch of amazing people here. They're doing seminars all day. So I just kind of got back from I was being taught about cognac. So it's really interesting just to kind of meet this niche group of people that know so much shit that I know nothing about. So other than just give me a Jack and Coke and hold the Coca-Cola. So anyway, that's my story. So, but yeah, that's why I'm in Montreal.
All right. Well, speaking of shit we don't know anything about, none of us have ever played in a Game 7 in the NHL. What are your Game 7 memories from your career?
Oh, shit. I think I've been in a few,
right?
I've been in 2, or maybe 3. Have I been in 3? Oh, I've been in shit. I'm trying to think. 2. Well, one was the reverse sweep, which is the infamous in 2014 where we got reverse swept by LA, which was it still haunts me to this day. And then the other one where we played St. Louis when I was with Dallas, and to say that we kind of should have won that series, but unfortunately goaltending, I don't want to say because I love Kari Lehtinen, but we kind of went into Game 7 and it was like 3 lucky goals right away. It wasn't his fault, but it was just 3 lucky goals right away. We were down 3-0 in the first, and we were like, uh-oh. And that was, 6-7 years ago when you never saw this many comebacks in games. So like you pretty much knew you were dead in the water because teams would just trap it up. Now you could be up 6 goals and a team will tie it up. Just this playoffs just seems like it's the playoffs of the blown lead. So it's been absolutely incredible, but they're still amazing. It's very high stress. Depending on if you're on the road, we were on the road for one. I was at home for both. So, the energy is definitely different for the home team in a sense of there's a lot of fear a little bit, and you could feel the nervousness from the crowd more. I feel like I would rather be on the road. I'm not saying that because I'm doing an Oilers podcast and trying to help out. But I honestly do think as a player, being on the road would be better because if you get an early one, the fans get real nervous. And you almost saw that in the Ranger game. Even the Rangers game, this playoffs, I know it was Game 5 or 6. It was 5 when they lost. But like the fans were nervous because they were thinking a reverse sweep. So just think if you're a Vancouver Canucks fan, you got Demko not playing and you just got the awful news about Brock Besser. Like there's going to be some nerves there more than confidence, and I feel like the confidence is waning a bit. And obviously huge, I hope everything's okay with Brock Besser. That just kills me to see that because I wanted to see the full lineups go at it because you want to beat their best. And so, but hopefully he's okay and he's got a speedy recovery. But I think, obviously he's a huge piece. So I think Vancouver fans are probably a little bit more nervous than they were 2 games ago.
Sorry, Jason, you've been in 3 Game 7s.
It's the third.
The first one you played in was against Detroit in 2000, and you guys were up 3-0. Detroit tied it. Then you guys won Game 7 at home. Yeah,
we almost got reverse swept twice in 2 years in San Jose. Fucking, can you believe that shit? That's true. I remember that. We went up 3-0 against like Lindstrom, Datsuk was insane, and then Zetterberg. They just had such a lineup, and then it's like they were coming downhill after that. And Game 7 was a really good back and forth game. I think we won that 2-1, and then it was a Patty Marleau goal. I remember it. So, and then Datsuk in that game scored just the sickest backhand, top shelf. But I digress. So I do remember it.
Do you think there's something to be said as well tonight? Like you mentioned, getting an early one if you're the Oilers to make the crowd nervous, but Vancouver's also in the spot where they had a chance to put away this series in Game 6. They didn't. The Oilers went pedal to the floor, played their best game. if you're the Oilers and you get one early tonight, like there's probably going to be some amount of doubt on that Vancouver bench as well, right?
100%. I mean, I'm sure the news of Brock really, it's either going to go one of two ways. It's either going to kind of bring them together and they're going to play extra hard, or it's going to maybe distract them a little bit early. So I think it's important that the Oilers just bring the same game they had last game. Don't take a step back. Don't think it's one. Don't rely. And for everything that everybody said, I feel like since you kind of had your rant, Tyler, last time I was on about the depth guys not pissing a drop, they've scored some big goals the last few games, and love the move by Knobloch putting in Carrick. I mean, I think you need that. I love Corey Perry, what he's done, but Carrick just brings a level of grit that you need on that bottom line. We talked about it. Just put a guy, if you're going to play him under 10 minutes, let him go run around. And he did exactly that. He disrupted Van, and they kind of haven't had a little spark plug like that this series. So it's great. And then obviously Dylan Holloway he's really coming in his own this playoffs, I feel like.
Yeah, Holloway's a machine.
Yeah. What impressed you the most about that Game 6 win?
It was top to bottom. Obviously, Connor was Connor, but two people that stood out for me was obviously, listen, Stuart Skinner, for all the shit we've given him. He didn't have a huge workload, but there was a couple saves in that game, especially that Quinn Hughes one, that was incredible, game saving. It would have turned the tide, and it allowed Edmonton to kind of keep the pressure on. So he was huge. I mean, Dylan obviously goes without saying. Getting a goal from him is such a huge uplifting thing. And then, I mean, right now in the playoffs, if I'm looking, there's been some unbelievable D-man performances. If you go to Florida, you got Gustav Forsling, you got Heiskanen in Dallas, but Evan Bouchard he's been unbelievable. And it's just what he's done, and the little edge he played with last game, and he's really pissing some guys off. He's playing hard. He's getting under sticks more than he's ever had. That was the big knock on him, is in the playoffs he kind of wilted. He's not wilting at all. He's playing with a little arrogance, and I absolutely love when he plays cocky because it makes him that much better. And I mean, that shot's just his calling card staple, and it's just been absolutely a weapon in this series. So he's just been, and just knowing him, having sat next to him in the room, just a great kid and a great human. And it's great to see that he's like, kind of like, this is my decor, this is my team, like, let's go. And it's been great. And obviously, Connor, Leon, what more can you say about them? There's nothing more, but those two really stood out for me, is Bush and Skinner as the two guys that huge games. So
yeah, for Skinner, I want to drill into that a little bit. I guess two-parter for you. What did you make of the decision to go back to him in Game 6? And I'll be honest, my confidence level in him going into that game was 3.5 out of 10. And after watching, how he played, just being good enough, which is all the Oilers need, stop the pucks you're supposed to, I'd say my confidence level in him is probably back up 6.5, 7.5 out of 10, somewhere in that range. So what did you make of the decision in Game 6? And maybe what do you think the confidence level should be in his ability to come through again in Game 7?
The one thing I've noticed in this playoff series is, and I have to say it, is Chris Knobloch has some elephant-sized balls on him, because the moves he's made have all worked out, and he's quietly done it. And he's, going to Picard was a great move, very ballsy. And then you could have argued that you go back to picks for Game 6, but he said, you know what? I think Skinner's going to put up a big game. Skinner is always good after a loss. Now, he just won a game, so I'm not sure what comes of this in Game 7. It's a toss-up, but I feel like he earned it in that game, especially getting 15 shots for him to be locked in all that game and make some. Because again, the Vancouver's thing, all of this playoff series is they sit back, they take on water, you get lulled into a little bit of a sleep, and they're very talented when they get in the ozone, and they get a sustained shift in the ozone with Quinn Hughes and Roenick, and they just find ways to create offense out of nothing. And that's kind of been their calling card all playoff series, because they get just timely, opportunistic goals when you think you got them down and out. So they got a big belief in that room, and that's kind of why I sparked the whole Twitter debate when I was just like, you guys stink, but I didn't actually mean they stink, but they seem to just be comfortable getting shelled, and then all of a sudden they get an ozone chance and they're very dangerous. So I think it was just amazing to see him make those saves when he didn't really have much work. And those are that Quinn Hughes save through traffic with the blocker. I mean, he doesn't have much room for error, and that was a bomb of a shot, and he makes that save. So you got to, I think it was again, going back to Chris Novak, I think it was a great ballsy move by him. I think it's his net again. You have to. It's one of this weird Jekyll and Hyde tandem, but like we said, the start of playoffs, I think we talked about it. It's like this Oilers team's playoff hopes is firmly in goaltending. And if they get serviceable goaltending, they have a good chance to win the cup with that potent offense. And if they get anything less than that, I mean, it's really a toss-up, and that's the way it's been. So, and they got a good game out of Picks, which is a huge game, and I thought both games he played great. And then Skinner came in and looked like he had a great game. So hopefully he plays pissed off again tomorrow and not nervous. And I think being on the road might be better for him because he's not going to feel that pressure of, in the Oilers building and at home. He gets to go on the road, watch a nice movie, maybe get some Bleu Nuit, something like that, and then just get a good night's sleep and then go out and play, go right to the rink, hostile environment. But I think it's sometimes better for a goalie to be on the road. So,
these two teams playing for the right to go up against the Dallas Stars in the Western Conference Final. And holy shit, do the Dallas Stars ever look like a wagon? I can't poke a hole in them. I don't know a weakness. I can't find one.
I kind of was like, I think Edmonton had the best path in terms of easiness of schedule and to get to the finals, but I didn't think Dallas would handedly beat Colorado like that. And they're going to get some rest now and be healthy. And they're top to bottom depth. Defense is playing great. I think they put in Alex Petrovic, was a phenomenal move by their coaching staff. Just another guy to shore up, and he can play some minutes. He's a veteran guy. And Jake Ottinger's Jake Ottinger right now, and that's the scariest thing. He is, without a doubt, the best goalie in the playoffs right now. And it's scary because the two teams he faced, you could say Shesty, whatever you want, but Shesty had Washington. That was nothing. That was an easy series. And then Carolina, peppered him with shots, but a lot of outside stuff. He did his job, but he still got worked a little bit in a couple of the games. I mean, Jake Ottinger has been nothing short of spectacular, and he just seems to get better as the playoffs go. So I'm a little worried, especially if they get Rupe Hintz healthy. And I think I was reading the news. All signs point to he's going to be back game one. So is Tanev will be fine. They're going to be healthy, and Rupe was going to be probably like questionable game 7 for that series, but now they don't play till Thursday. So he's going to be back in, and it's a hard team to skate with and defend, and it's scary. That's the best team by far. And I thought they've had the hardest schedule too, and they have just disposed of two of the arguably other best teams. Yeah, not handedly. They had to come back against Vegas, but after those two games, those first two games, I thought they carried the play for most of that series. And then Colorado they neutralized McKinnon as much as you could.
Yeah. Good. You good?
I'm good.
So let's wrap up with this, Jason. Game 7. I think we know Connor McDavid, he does these things in big moments. He had his big moment 2 years ago against the Kings. He had his big moment against the Calgary Flames in the BOA that year as well. He has stepped up when they need him most, but give me your prediction for how things shake down tonight, and give me someone maybe outside of 97 that you think could be the hero.
Matthias Janmark, potentially.
Has a Game 7 Hattie under his belt.
He does. I'd love to see a Darnell Nurse goal, but these are one of the games that, Connor's done big things in big moments. This is another legacy type game for a leader, him and Leon. This is a game where these guys need to be your best. You just saw if you're looking at basketball, this is the Ant-Man, Karl Anthony Towns kind of game where they need to win this series. They should win. They've been the better team majority of the series. They can't lose this because this will be a blemish. So they're going to have to really make sure that everything's dialed in and guys are playing good. But I would love to see a Darnell Nurse goal and just, shove it up everybody's ass and have a good game. So I'd go with Nursey to put one in here.
I love it, Jason. Enjoy the game tonight. And hopefully when we talk to you next, it's all about the Oilers and Stars.
Let's ride, boys. Let's ride. Oil up!
Oil up, indeed. Jason Demers on the Star Mechanical guest line. What's up, Nation citizens? If you like that video, then you need to be subscribed to the Oilers Nation YouTube. Podcasts, live shows, exclusive interviews, and analysis. Everything you need from your favorite voices at Oilers Nation. And you don't want to miss any of it, so hammer that subscribe button.